Hey there. Is this shit on? Yeah. I'm just turning it the wrong way. There we should go. I'm sorry. I'm a little late. So I'm going to get the last technical stuff out of the way, and I'm going to finish my coffee that I'm making right here, and I'm going to put on a piece of music. And I'll see you all in a bit. You know, I still have some technical stuff I have to put up because I'm late. It happens. So I'm going to play a piece of music, and I'll see you all in 4 minutes.
You know, Your Honor, and throughout this entire court case, you haven't looked me or my attorney in the eye once. It's obvious that you're not here in search of justice. So therefore, there's no point in me asking for a lighter sentence. I don't care what you do because you're not respecting us. This is not a court of law as far as I'm concerned. No justice is being served here. And you still can't look me in the eye. And so I say, do what you want to do. Give me whatever time you want, because I'm not in your hands. I'm in God's hands.
I am a natural person with my God-given rights. I am free to determine how I shall live my life. I am not your property. I do not belong to you. You are not the boss of me. Don't tell me what I ought to do. Don't tell me what's illegal to do to my own self. If I want, I should be able to ruin my own health or take my own life. After all, it's only mine to lose. I'm not condoning it, but we should have the right to choose whatever we want, long as we not doing harm to others. This hypocritical justice system's a lot of rubbish. They make us swear on the Bible and to the God above us, the same one who told his son to say you're not to judge us. Yet the law that does this is based on a religion that says the way for man to be like God is by forgiving. But still they fill the prisons, they quick to give us time. There ain't no justice when the punishment don't fit the crime. Yeah, I am leading the revolution of my spirit, body, and mind. Yeah, inside of me is a solution to any problem I find. I'm gonna love myself and take responsibility for my life, cause God gave me the liberty to live my life the way I think I ought to. Yeah, the definition of capitalize is to take advantage of. So the purpose of capitalism is to capitalize on us. They be capitalizing every single letter in our names. If you think it don't mean nothing, you better think again. Turn a person to a slave, a corporation to a person. They claim it's getting better as the situation worsens. They trying to prevent us, the 99%, from understanding that a natural person's rights are heaven sent. The rules and regulations that they make do not apply to us. They lie to us to try to justify the reasons why we must agree and follow. Even though our leaders' motto's obvious, they all about the dollars, yet they hollering in God we trust, pretending that they religious by reading passages from the Bible all the while misleading the masses with their brainwashing tactics they using Jesus of Nazareth. Name in vain to claim they fame, these heathens speaking blasphemous. Yeah, I am leading the revolution of my spirit, body, and mind. Yeah, inside of me is a solution to any problem I find. I'm gonna love myself and take responsibility for my life, cause God gave me the liberty to live my life the way I think I ought to. Yeah, I am speaking on behalf of my people with no voice. Ain't no sovereignty or freedom, they leave us with no choice. Yet they claim it's liberty, but I say it's quite contrary. Take a look at history, you'll see that they ain't fighting fairly. Ain't no thinking differently, you gotta pay the price to vary. Tell me why the government doesn't give gays the right to marry. They got no right to tell you who you not allowed to love. I reiterate, religion states you're not allowed to judge. Yet these Christian politicians call us all a bunch of thugs. They hit us with a sentence for a small amount of drugs. It's funny how they keep liquor and tobacco legal, yet they take more lives together than ecstasy, crack, and needles. And the weed and shrooms that we consume are not actually lethal, but the government will ban it if they cannot tax the people. To me, the reason for the war on drugs is more than obvious. They profiting by stopping us from exploring our consciousness. Yeah, I am leading the revolution of my spirit, body, and mind. Yeah, inside of me is a solution to any problem I find. I'm gonna love myself and take responsibility for my life, cause God gave me the liberty to live my life the way I think I ought to. Yeah.
So there we go. I hope my mic is okay. It should be. So, welcome to the Tribe of Revelation, the show where nothing is too big and everything counts. And it's also the show where facts becomes theories again. Yeah. Today I have a message. So far I only see Buzz here. So, but that's okay for now because the first half hour maybe will just be a monologue from my side. I have, you know, a little thing to say, and before I open the lines, and yeah, it's not going to be an extremely long show today. I'm going for like 2 hours, midnight ish here. Then I need to sleep because I have work tomorrow. Big day. So today I want to talk about what the title says, Navigating the Matrix. Last week I talked about how we should all look at ourselves and look inwards and yeah, trying to find ourselves, balancing everything out. Thank you for noticing, Buzz. I'm probably in the best shape I've been in my life. I'm down to 185 pounds. It's amazing, and it's a part of what I want to talk about today. Because back in the day, I took some really good decisions. To be precise, 2020. So I have a couple of small messages, but all in all, it's the same message. I just want to divide it up in small bits. Back in 2020, we all know a pandemic was rushing over the world, and we all saw that as a bad thing. But now I'm looking back. I'm looking back at what it have done to me, and I realized that I am now, I don't know, 10 times better man than I was in 2020. So it's not all bad, you know. Yeah, we saw a lot of nonsense. We went through a lot of shit. We went through. We're going from disbelief to being hated, to back where we are at now, where I actually get questions and people want answers and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. I still have people in my surroundings coming now, and now they're listening to what I have to say. They still don't only want to hear about the pandemic. They don't want to hear about all my other shit, but it's just a matter of time before all that will follow. And I think we need to share. I need to share this clarity that I've found over 3 years now. I can't even explain it. Something just came over me when I realized back in 2020 how fucked up everything was. It gave me a feeling. How can I best describe it? About being alone. I felt alone in this world. During these 3 years, I found all you wonderful people, but back then I felt really, really lonely. I couldn't find anybody that I could resonate with in my near surroundings, and yeah, it was a rough path. But it also changed me in a good way, and we need to talk about that too. It made me realize that okay, the world is fucked up. And no matter what I do, the world will be fucked up. So I can sit and cry about the world being fucked up, or I can try to do something about it. The fuck? Oh, I think we're back. Hope you can see me, otherwise you'll have to tell me. We have a couple of dudes now watching, so I'm just going to start talking. We can complain about this world all we want, or we can do something about it. And that's what I did in 2021. I started hitting the streets. I started trying to convince people that we have been lied to, and that we have been deceived in a bigger scale, and that's what I spent my 2021 on, and then I realized that I didn't want to do that either, because I will be fighting a big media corporation. I found out when all the mandates came out and the vaccines came out that I was fighting something that I can't even comprehend, Fighting at every front, every sign, every commercial, every newsreader, every politician, every school teacher, basically every public person I find, were pushing this agenda. So I decided, all right, I can't change people's mind either. So I have to be, so what do I do? So instead I started focusing on myself. Hey there, Mary. And when I did that, it basically became even worse, because now I'm here in a pandemic. I'm lonely. I feel ostracized, and on top of that, now I have to look at the biggest fears that I have, all the fears that I've been hiding away for a long, long time. My deepest demons was all of a sudden in that mirror that I chose to look in, and things took a turn for the worse. And that's kind of the mantra we're gonna be in today, is that things are gonna get worse and worse and worse until they get better. So I started looking at myself, and I really didn't like what I saw. So I decided to change myself. But now I want to give an advice, because I did it the wrong way. I decided to change myself first before I looked at myself. If anybody wants to follow a path like that, you need to look at yourself deeply before you change. You need to know what your bad sides are. You need to know how fucked up are you, because if you dive in the deep end, which is basically what I did, you're gonna get in trouble. You're gonna feel like you're drowning for a bit before you learn to swim. And that's what I did. I just went. When the decision was made, I went to the mirror and I found all the biggest demons that I could fight. And I realized in that moment that I wasn't strong enough for that fight. So if you follow a path like that, my advice is take one demon at a time. Don't dive into deep end, because you might fail. I thought I was for a long time. I thought I was failing through 2021. I tried to keep it strong. I even tried to keep a front for you guys, but inside I was struggling really bad. Not so much on my development. At that point, I found my path. I knew what I wanted, and I found a purpose. But the more I developed myself towards what I wanted to be, the less I fitted into the world, you know. And all of a sudden, you have to ask yourself a question: do I belong here? You know, do I just have to quit? Because it's not just me, you know. I have people around me that counts on me. And even though I want to give him the truth, I don't want to give him that feeling that I had inside. So I toned it down for a bit. Most 20, rest of the 2021 and start of 2022, I stopped being that guy that explained shit to people on the street, you know. I even stopped explaining shit to you guys, you know, in here. I tried to stop the nonsense. And by that I mean mainstream news. Everybody was covering it. I did it too. And I tried to get that out of the way. And that did me really good. I found a pocket where I could breathe. Basically, I went from struggling from keeping afloat to being able to. I was still struggling. I was still using a lot of energy to keep myself above water, but I could breathe. You know, now I just needed to learn how to swim in that new reality that I found myself in. During 2022, I realized that I can't change the world. I realized it's not up to me to change the world. I realized that that's not my job. I realized that my job is to save whatever I can. And to do that, I need to be strong. You know? So I worked on myself a lot, you know. Try to be a better man every single day, you know. Woke up, remember what I did bad yesterday, what I did last week or last month, or even last time I was in the same situation. And I just learned, you know. Every time I got to the same situation, I said, fuck it, I'm going to do better this time. And I had a lot of focus, you know. Yeah. You're right, Mary. That was the biggest hurdle. I promise you, if it wasn't for my kids and my near surroundings, I would never have followed through with this plan. You know, it was even also on the other hand, it was also that made it hard. So, but to stay on that path, I needed that kick in the ass as well. You know. And once I started snowballing down that mountain, I found purpose. Like I said in my last video, you know, and I think that's what everybody needs. We need purpose. I found a video in 2022, you know, see if I can find it. And that's what kicked me in the ass. And that's why I am where I am now. Normally, I don't like these motivational speakers because I'm at a belief that if you need a motivators, if you need to be kicked in the ass about kicking yourself in the ass, you know, you're already doing yourself a disfavor. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah. I found this guy when I was looking for what I needed to do.
Easy it is to change. You want to know how to do it? Everybody, it's this easy. Number one, ready? You want to know how to change the fastest. You want to know the biggest paradigm shift you've ever seen in your whole life. Number one, write this down. Come on. Go to the gym. Isn't that crazy? First thing first. When you go to the gym, number one, mental clarity will rush through your mind. Mental clarity. This isn't about how you look. And by the way, work out hard. Find something hard, push yourself, go dark. Don't think about anything else except for this is you versus you. Beat those demons off you. I promise you. Get in the gym.
And he told me exactly what I needed to know at that moment. And that's what I did. I hit the gym. And the rest is history, basically. You know, I followed an old dream about fighting MMA. That was a dream I had 20 years ago. And I already started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Judo. I did Judo for 6 years and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in 2022 I've done for a couple of years. I started, basically when Corona started, just before Corona started in 2019. I started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And that guy, he kicked me in the ass. So I went to the gym. And I can only say, Mary, it's the best thing I ever done. Because it does just that, as he says. It brings out all the demons, but it also gives you the strength to fight them. So, and it gives you the will to do it. You know, it gives you surplus in energy and what should we call it? Focus. So yeah. If you're thinking about going to the gym, you should do it. And here's the kicker. You shouldn't wait and you shouldn't think about it. Just fucking go. And I promise you everything will be hard for the next year, but then you will start reading the benefits, you know? So yeah. So here we are. I can go back and show you how I look back in 2020 when I was a big polar bear. See if I can pull something up, didn't I? So basically, I've changed everything. So this is me in 2020. If you can see, something has changed since then. I was about 236 pounds back then. You know, I was a big dude, and I was eating all kinds of crap. I didn't take very good care of myself, basically. So that was the guy that I changed from into what I am today. And here is oh shit, I'm missing some videos here. Yeah, okay. But I will I can take it on YouTube. Here I am today. Oh shit. I suck at this. This is not me. No, wait. And this is how I look today. Now I am 185 pounds. I'm pretty goddamn strong. In this video, I do like 70 push-ups and 25 pull-ups, in 6 minutes. So that's what I changed from and to, and that's 2 years in the gym. You know, I lost 50 pounds in 2 years, and I'm gone from being scared about everything and being worried about what's going to happen, fearing for my kids, to just everything just bounces off me. And it's not only because of the gym, but the gym is the driving factor, getting in shape. It just is, what do you call it? The detonator, you know. You still have to make the decision, but once, no, I will call it the fuel. It's the fuel, you know. You can have the machine to better yourself, but if you don't go to the gym, you won't have the fuel to do it, you know. So, yeah. And I don't know if you know what I do, Mary, but basically I'm fighting now. Yeah. Actually, going to the gym, boss, it wasn't discipline for me. It wasn't. I didn't need to be disciplined to go to the gym. It just came natural to me. I wanted to be there, If I didn't go, I hurt myself. Hey there, Vinny. Good to see you. Basically, I started feeling the power of it in 2023, and I upped it. So and now I just can't let it go. And when I say the gym, I don't mean lifting weight like that. Oh, nice, Mary. You should still go to the gym. Age is not a difference, you know. We have people doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at the age of 70, so it's not a hindrance, you know. Yeah, but I'm not, I'm 48 years old, Mary. So yeah. It's not too late, Mary. Just go. Just do it. Stop questioning yourself and just do it. And so yeah, but I changed in a lot of other ways. I started thinking about what I eat, especially this year, 2023, has been all about trying to eat better. So yeah, I have made all kinds of stuff that I've started making my own food, and now I'm starting growing it as well. I have a video. Oh shit! I've grown potatoes on my balcony. Basically, I just made myself a little bed with potatoes, and they're growing rapidly. I can't even stop that shit. I'm not even think that it was supposed to be this big. I probably fucked up along the way. I should have weeded them out a little, but here they are. This is my first time growing potatoes, and next year I'll be wiser. But I'm looking forward to getting a real potato, and I did that solely by need. It's not like I'm a garden kind of guy, but I've been complaining for like 5 years now. I've been bitching about not getting a decent potato. We live in the land of potatoes here. I'm here from Denmark, Copenhagen, Denmark, and I can't even get a decent potato. I remember potatoes to be something really delicious, but over the years they have just diminished that. Now I get something that's been lying for a warehouse for 3 months, and it's back in the days you could buy the new ones a little more expensive, like 10 years ago, but and then you had the bad one that was cheaper. Now they only have the cheap stuff. You can't get a decent potato in the shops no more. So I said, like I did with everything else, if I can't get a decent potato, instead of sitting and bitching about it, you know, to all kinds of people who can't do anything about it, I can do something about it myself. So that's what I did. I said, uh, okay, I have to acknowledge that I can't buy a potato, so I have to make my own. And this is what I did. And next year I will make more. So this is just a test. I have 6 plants here, and I think it's going pretty well. I have no idea what's happening on the ground, but at least I did something, you know? And that's what it's all about. That's the message today. Stop bitching about a life. Stop bitching about all the other people, because it's not about them. It's about yourself. That's basically the message. It's the whole message that I'm going to bring over the next couple of shows is to focus on yourself. Don't focus on all the other people. You know, that's the key. Stop looking about the flaw in everybody else, and instead looking at your own faults and flaws. Because if you do that, you'll be able to recognize what's right and wrong in this world. We have a tendency as humans to delude ourselves. We all do that. We all believe that we are better at things than we really are. We all delude ourselves to think, to hide our emotions and our flaws, and think they go away. They certainly don't. And I think it's important to recognize that you are the problem, and you are the only problem in your world. You know, I'm not talking about the reality you live in, I'm talking about your world. And I found out in the last year or so that you can actually do whatever you want with your life. You know, the only thing stopping you is yourself. I found out when I started changing and doing all the stuff that I want, nobody could stop me. You know, just find out what makes you tick in this world. Give yourself that treat so you can make yourself better, and you become a beacon. Instead of explaining shit to people, you're showing shit to people, you know, instead of trying to explain that they have been lied to and they have been deceived and they're basically wasted their whole life. Because make no mistake about it, that's what we're telling people when we're telling them they're wrong. We're telling them that they have wasted their entire life believing something uh, that is not reality, you know? And when we do that, we are we're doing ourselves a disfavor. We need to be a beacon. We need to do as we preach. We need to stand up and show and be proud. I'll be the first one now to say, I didn't say this last year. I'm proud of who I've become. I'm very proud. I still have a lot of flaws that I have to correct, but I'm doing a difference every day. I am changing a little bit every single day. I don't digress. I'm moving forward all the time, and I'm proud of that, and I know it's gonna be okay. I'm not in a hurry. What do I have to catch up to, right? Um, so, uh, what else did I wanted to say? There was one more thing I feel. Yeah, stop looking back. That's a big one, you know. And I've catched myself doing this in the past 2 years. Even though I felt everything was going the right way, I had a tendency to stop up and look back. You know, yeah, it can help you be proud of how far you moved. But stop comparing yourself. Because you'll remind yourself of all your bad sides all the time, and that's where digression happens. Look forward. No, even better, look at the present. Look at yesterday and be better than that. Because if you do that, then if you do that every day, then you're always in progress. Then you don't need to look at yourself for a year ago. I promise you, when you're at that point, people will tell you how much you evolved. You know, people will see it and they will compliment you on it. And so you don't have to look. You don't have to look at your own progress. Um, you only have to catch up to your own expectation, and you can't set or change that pace. No, but be sure you set a pace that suits you. You know, as I said in the beginning, I went too fast. I jumped in I jumped basically. I jumped head first in all my emotions at one time, and I wasn't ready for the demons that was hiding there. You know, so yeah, set a steady pace. You're not in a hurry. You know, I know you want to show the people uh, to be better, but you know what? They're standing still, and we're moving forward. So they're gonna see it no matter what. You just have to be. If you're progressing all the time, all you need to do is not see people for 2 weeks, and they will notice the difference. You know. So yeah. So navigating the matrix is about bettering yourself. It's not about changing your surroundings. Remember in the movie where Neo he was walking, bumping into everybody, and Morpheus was just walking through it. It's because he had that vision. He was only focusing where he was and how he was interacting with the matrix. He didn't care about everything else. That's just ones and zeros walking by him. When Neo, he still saw him as human being, so that's why he bumped into everybody. you know and that's how we need to navigate. We need to focus on ourselves and our interactions in this reality. you know Integrate yourself instead of trying to change your surroundings. And I know I'm I'm speaking against myself, because I've been saying that for the first couple of years I was online. I said, change your surroundings, because otherwise you will perish. I said that a lot of times, but I changed that focus. Integrate yourself. Don't try to change the surroundings. Try to navigate through it instead. Yeah. So thank you, Mary. I hope you're getting something out of it, because today I'm just using what I got. And what I've realized in the past couple of years is that you can be honest about these things, and you can be open about it. You don't have to hide your flaws. You know, because if you know deep inside that you are bettering yourself every day and that you are getting progress, you know, then you don't have to. I lost the thread there. Sorry. I'm just gonna take another cup of coffee. Um, and I think I said most of it, so I'm gonna put in the link. If anybody wants to join me, have a conversation about life, or progress, or going to the gym, ask away. You can ask in the you can come on here and ask me, or you can just put questions in the chat, and I'll answer everything as good as I can. You can ask about me, you can ask me about the world, how I integrate, and all that. But don't give me nonsense about all the mainstream news out there, because I don't need it anymore. Oh, that was the last thing. I've come to a point now where I really don't care. I really don't care. Today, for the first time in a long time, I turned on this page with all the news, and I just glanced over and I was like, yeah, no. you know I had that feeling, when you were back in the day, when when you were small, you were watching the comic books, and they were cool. They were cool and good stories and all that. And then you grow up and you see this shit, all the Walt Disney and the comic books, and you think it's terrible. I have that feeling now. It's I can't even believe I'm at the point where I can't believe that people are still looking at this shit. It's really crazy to me how obvious it is, and I guess it's only obvious to us, but because I'm still in a trailer on work, and I hear everybody talking about the news. I don't even need to read the news more. Everybody is talking about it. Hey there, Carrie Skates. So that was all the message that I had for today, is to navigate yourself through the matrix instead of trying to rewrite the program. So, yeah. Do I have anything else I want to share with you? What else do I do? Let me look at my videos, see if I can find something you haven't seen. Oh.
And here's a little trick that my grandmother taught me. It's going to be a little hard because I'm trying to hold the camera at the same time.
This is from last year.
But basically, what you want to do is
blues,
make them roll.
Make my own.
Then you're sure you have berries that
jam,
want,
and make my own juice.
Basically, rolling the berries, I want to see if they roll by themselves.
And it's all natural.
Like
I don't add anything. And yeah, I add sugar, and other than that, I don't add anything.
Same thing.
Yeah.
It's just a way to check.
That was actually a video I was supposed to make that I never got around to. So yeah, this is a first.
This one was semi-bad. These are good. They roll by themselves. Bad. All right. Process number 2.
Making jam.
When the berries are cooked, we drop them in here and we sieve them. Basically, we just take the poor juice out of it. Yeah. So
I promise you, that's a deal, boss.
done that.
Once the potatoes are ready,
This
I'm
up
gonna
again,
buy me a
and add the
really nice
sugar.
fish. I'm going to the fish guy and I'm gonna
And
buy
you
the
will have
best fish that I can find,
some nice
and I'm gonna serve that with
Bella
just
juice. You can put
potatoes
this
and
all the
butter.
way in
That's it,
for syrup if you
and
want that.
some
No,
greens, you
no
know.
problem. It works.
And I promise you, I'll make a video
Uh,
when I do so.
and when I'm done with
So
that shit, and by the way, here
yeah,
you can see the process
that's the deal.
with the water. This is
Oh,
water.
yeah, you can see
You can
that's
see it's
another
steam
thing I do. I make
coming
my
down this
own
pipe.
water. I don't drink from the
Take
tap.
on water
That's
again,
also something
and that's
that
what
I
we drink.
started in
We drink
2020.
the steam.
Uh,
Yeah.
what you're seeing there in the background is
Second
a distill.
process
Basically, I
is
distill the water. Uh,
I take all these leftovers.
so, yeah. Basically, it's just a cooker. It's
I
a
sold
pressure
my
cooker
leftovers, and I
that
went
makes
to buy a camera stand.
that
Now,
you can boil it and make it to steam, and then I collect
this
the
shit
steam,
is
and
not
all the solid
working.
part stays in the pot, you know, and all the clean things outside this
But
too.
you probably already know all
It
this.
still contains
I'm still
whatever
showing.
chemicals is inside, chlorine and stuff like that. So after that, it needs to go through some a carbon filter as
But
well, and then you have
yeah,
perfectly clean water. I can't even tell you how amazing that is. You know, it tastes totally different. You know, maybe you don't have the problem where you are.
no, I
Maybe you're
created.
having good water, but in this town, especially this town that I'm living in, the water is really, really bad. So everything we drink, everything we eat comes from
Yeah,
this
I fixed the
distiller.
problem. I think I should sell some of this
And
juice
but I
and
have
buy
to warn
myself
you,
a
it's
camera stand.
addictive. Once you
How do
drink
you
that
feel
shit,
about that?
you can't go back to tap water. Yeah. And this I'm making here is the best of the best. It's jam, pure jam.
But basically, what I'm doing now is I'm making jam. And now I'm
And then I
just
make the
mixing in the
juice.
sugar.
So yeah, let me
I
know
could
how
tell you
you are
how much I
bettering
put in here. I put
yourself
like,
in your life. You know, give me all your tips and
I
tricks.
think like a third.
You know, and it's different for everybody. It's been very important for me, my health and my mental clarity. And I think it's come from health. You know, once you're healthy, you know, you just become a different person. I can't go back now. You know, I'm not going overboard. You know, I'm not one of those health freaks. You know, I still eat pizza. You know, I still eat all the shit that I want, chocolate, chips, and whatever. I'm having. I cut down on the beer. Maybe I drink 4 or 5 beers a month. That's it. You know, and it's never at the same time. It's one beer when I'm sitting in front of a good movie or something like that. You know, I enjoy it. You know, because I like the taste of beer. But I don't like to be drunk no more. That's a new thing too. I went to a Christmas party. You know, where I said fuck it, and I got drunk, and I ended up going home because I didn't like it. So I don't like to get drunk no more. I don't like to lose self control no more. It's very important for me to always be in control of my surroundings and myself. I think that came with the martial art, uh, and yeah, I never get drunk no more. So there's that. It's not because despise alcohol or anything like that at all. I love beer and I want beer. You know, I just Don't like to be drunk. What else can I say? What else have I done? Uh, yeah, I'm basically kicking out most of the supermarkets and going in small groceries instead. If I find a little place where I feel like I can get service and good products, I go there, even though it's expensive and I don't even, I really can't afford it, you know. Um, I still want to contribute to, you know, having that opportunity. I don't want everything to Paris into Walmarts and whatever you want, you know. I want I want to spend that extra money so I can get good stuff because I think it's a cycles, you know. Um, I'm rambling now. If anybody wants to talk, press that link or forever hold your peace. Yeah. Uh, you don't need to have anything to say at all. You know, just come on, have a good conversation. I assure you, I don't bite. Nothing is too small, nothing is too big. Everything is accounted for, and let's just have a conversation. I love that. Otherwise, I'll be trying to ramble a little more, and I'll wrap it up in like I don't know 15, 20 minutes if nobody comes on. So, yeah, I do my fighting. I've started my MMA adventure now. That's what I'm training to now. Right now, I am focusing on getting strong. I've spent my last 2 years on getting in the right way, weight and getting healthy. You know, now it's time to get strong. Now it's time to build strong muscles. I don't want big muscles. I don't like big muscles. I want small, tight, strong muscles. So now I'm doing pull-ups and push-ups, and every Friday I do weights with my kids. So yeah. And basically, I train 5 times a week now. You know, I run on Monday. I do jujitsu 3 times a week, and I do weights every Friday. So, um, and it's not even a chore. You know, I miss it if I don't do it. If I skip one day, I feel miserable. You know, I regret it. I don't feel miserable. I regret it. You know, so that's my mantra. Everything becomes normal again. Once you worked on what you want, you know, once you find that focus and purpose in your life, it becomes much easier. We need goals. That's how human beings work. We don't like to just bet ourselves in, you know, what do you call it? Indefinitely, you know. We need goals. We need something to work to, you know. I did that. I had a clear goal. It's called MMA. So I knew that I needed to get this good in judo in order to use it in MMA, and I knew I need to get this good at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to use it in MMA. Oh, good one, actually, boss. Sleep, yes, uh, that's actually way important, and yes, it came and went with the dreams. The the best thing I have done is to turn off my router. You know, I still have a router for a tablet and stuff I had in the house. You know, and even though most here is on cable, I started turning it off at night, and that's the best thing I've ever done. Um, that worked wonders for my sleep. Uh, I noticed a big change within the first month. You know, it was insane. After a week or two, I started dreaming tremendously. You know, it was insane. It was like my brain saying, "Oh my God, we have so much catching up to do." You know, it was like my subconscious hadn't been able to speak to me for a long time, and all of a sudden, you know, I dreamt every night, all the time. Sometimes I could wake up from a dream in the middle of the night, go back to bed and dream again before I woke up in the morning. So, so yeah, that was insane. Uh, I don't know if those waves suppress our ability to dream, but I hadn't I was thinking about this and I hadn't dreamt for like 20 years or something, like, which actually fits with 3G and 4G. You know, it's about a time span of 20 years. So I think there's something to it. The moment I turned that shit off, I start dreaming. Now it went back a bit, you know. So now I dream regularly, you know. But it was like my mind had, I guess, some catching up to do. So if you don't do it, turn off your Wi-Fi, turn off your router, at least at night. Yes, you will still get something from the outside, but it's not in the same degree as what you have inside. I'm not saying go overboard, you know, even though I have been thinking about getting some graphite paint, you know, paint my living room so I have a room, in at least one room where I can block it out. So, but yeah, maybe I will someday. But right now, I'm good at where I am. Yes, do it, Carrot Gates. Do it. Turn that shit off. Not now, because I will lose you, but but when you go to sleep, and not, you know, 2 minutes before you go to sleep. Do it an hour, you know. Use the last hour. You know, I have a computer with a cord in it. This one I'm sitting in front of now, it has a wire. So basically, an hour before I need to go to bed, I turn that shit off, you know, and I only have the wire. Do it, Carrascade. Stop thinking about it and do it. You won't regret it. I don't know how much it's hurting us. I won't say it's like, oh my God, you know, I don't want to post that fear, you know. I just felt that there is a difference, you know, and it could be an important one, but I don't know for a fact that it is. Yeah, but that was a good question, Buzz. Very, 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 very important to get good night's sleep. And I found some other methods to get a good night's sleep. Uh, I'm a big coffee drinker. I love coffee, you know, and you need to cut that shit down at night, you know. I'm a sinner today. That's what I say. I still fuck up, you know. So I'm going to do this right in front of you so you can see I'm still sinning. Normally, this is something I tell myself I won't do. But you know what? It's all good. I do it today and I don't do it tomorrow. And once you have found that strength that you can break the rules, you know, in order to have a good time one evening while I'm sitting here talking to you guys, and the rest of the week, I won't. You know, it's that's kind of self-discipline you need to find, you know. It's like smoking or whatever bad habit you have, you know. Normally we say, fuck it. The moment we fuck up, we go back to square one and say, I fucked up, so I might as well just continue doing it. But you don't have to. Not when you came this far. You don't need to. I don't care. I basically don't care about anything because I know I have that compass. I know when I'm sinning, and I know that I will do better tomorrow, you know? Yeah. Yeah. What else can I say? Basically, I turned off the fear. You know, that's the best thing that I've done since I started going to the gym. Is just I just flipped the switch. One day, I can't even give you the exact date I did it, but one day I just said, fuck it. Fuck everything. Fuck everything I see. Fuck all the people that I walk around amongst, you know. Fuck the rules. You know, I'm not even gonna engage in their stupidity. I'm just gonna do me, and I'm gonna give you 3 phrases that you need to learn. You know, in order to now I'm gonna give you the good shit. How to navigate this matrix. You need 3 phrases that you can use out there on the other side of the door. It's no, hell no, and get the fuck out of my face. You know, that's it. You don't need anything else. I don't say you need to be uncivil about it. You can still be polite. You can say no in a good manner, you know, but don't engage, you know. Don't say, no, that's stupid. No, I'm not doing that because the numbers are saying something different and the experts and the shit and the what and the woe. You know, don't try to explain shit to people. Just say no. And if they say you have to, you say hell no. You know? And if they insist, you know, if they are cutting you off and insist, if you can't walk away from them, then you're on the third phase. Get the fuck out of my face. And now you're looking straight in their eyes. And they will see that you mean it. So, yeah. That's how I do it. I just say no. In the best way that I can. I try to be civil, but I don't give a shit if I hurt their feelings. I'm over that. Because I know better. And I don't care if they get all Karen on me, you know? Basically, I look at them as small kids. If they want to play, all right, let's play. If they want to stand there and scream because I didn't give them an ice cream, you know, I don't care. So, yeah, that was my little ramble today. Hey, Johnny Cool, good to see you. Every time I decide that I won't go on for much longer, some new guy pops up. Is that a conspiracy? Nah, I'm just fucking with you. As I said, I want to do MMA now. Right now, I'm just training for myself to get in strength, and after that, I will join the MMA team and I will learn a lot of techniques because everything is different. Even the judo and the Brazilian jiu-jitsu is different when it's used in an MMA forum. So I want to go to strictly MMA training and evolve my skills that I have already, so they integrate in there. And when I'm done with that, I'm gonna go to Lithuania. For those who remember, last year I was no, it was like 1.5 year ago. I went to to Lithuania. We have a sister gym over there with the coach of my coach. You know, the one that taught my coach, and he's a real MMA guy. He has a lot of pro fights. So my coach is pure sport. You know, he's not the MMA kind of guy. It's sports jiu-jitsu that he teaches. You know, so the moment I decide that I wanna fight MMA, I go to Lithuania. My plan is to go there for like 2 or 3 months and just practice the shit out of myself, basically. So yeah, that's the next step, and all that is should be done about January. And next year, from January, I'm gonna focus on my new tour that I'm trying to make to the United States. I would basically want to go across the United States on a bicycle, and just navigate the matrix and take you along the way. You know, practice what I preach, show you what it looks like when I'm out there being a beacon. You know, contra how I did it in the old days. For if anybody remember me, I don't know. Maybe Boss remember me as Rebel TV. You know, I was this guy standing on a street corner and just telling everybody how fucked up the world is and how Klaus Schwab should be shot in the head with a whatever, you know, to the guy I am today. There are good people out there. I'm just fed up with trying to find them, you know. I'm not looking for them no more. I try to be that beacon. I tried. I still wear my shirt, you know, and I try to get the message out there without engaging, you know. So I just try to be the best version of me, you know, and attract people who want something better, and then they will come to me, you know. I'm not a shepherd kind of guy, you know. I'm not a leader. I'm not that guy. But if you need an advice along the way, I'll give you that, you know. But you need to go there yourself. I'm not going to hold your hand, you know. I still have some people in my nearest surroundings that look to me as some kind of fucking guru, you know, that knows everything, and I don't. I try to tell them that I don't. Yeah, but you know this, and you knew that before it happened, and you know, yeah. Well, I'm not gonna hold your hand if you're not gonna go down the rabbit hole, you know. So basically, people need to take that step themselves. That's the key. You know, we can't push them in a rabbit hole. You know, we can't. People need to take that leap of faith by themselves. They need to be sure that they have the strength to go there. You know, then when they're in there and they find some scary stuff, you can help them through it, you know, but they need to take that first step themselves. They need to want it, you know, that's the key. They need to want to do that. If you're trying to force them, it will always be on you to help them, and it will be on you to take the fall when shit happens, you know. So yeah, try to let people know that you're that guy. You're that guy that can help them in these situations, you know. And I do that. I do that. I still do it. I do small stuff. I try to do good deeds every day when I go to work. You know, I can tell you a story from earlier last week, early in last week, uh, I was in a train. Um, and this is insane. I tried to. This woman was on her phone, and her kid was basically sitting there in the carriage, what do you call it, and screaming at her mom. It was not crying, it was just trying to get in touch with the mom that was on the phone. She was sitting there looking at her phone, and the kid was like, rah, rah, and reaching for her and stuff like that, trying to call her. And this kid is only, he couldn't speak. So I guess it was about a year old or something like that, you know, and it was just heartbreaking. It was like the mother didn't even hear the kid, and so I started interacting with the kid, you know. I started making stupid faces and stuff like that, and I hide and I did this and all that, and the kid started smiling, and then it started laughing, and then it started sitting and rocking and shit, and the whole carriage was moving, and all of a sudden this lady woke out of her, of her trance. We've been doing this on and off for like 3 or 4 minutes. She hadn't noticed a thing, and all of a sudden she wakes up of the trance, and she sees her kid sitting there bouncing and having a good time, and then she sees that it's looking at me, and then she looks at me, and her first reply is, "What are you doing?" I mean, can you imagine that? She asked me, "What are you doing?" "I'm trying to entertain your kid." Short and sweet. And I think she realized what was happening, and she got embarrassed that I was supposed, it wasn't supposed to be me, that it was supposed to be her. So she got a little embarrassed, and she turned that as wrath against me, you know. And I said, "You know what? I'm not having this conversation with you. I saw a kid, you know, that needed attention. I gave it because you were doing something important, you know. So I gave your kid a little attention. Well, where's the hurt in that?" And well, she didn't take it very nicely. She probably thought that I was accusing her of being a bad mother or something like that. I wouldn't go there, but a good mother hears her baby call, you know. And so yeah, she wanted to argue with me. I left the train. I left the train 2 stops early because I didn't want to argue with this woman. I left the train and I went to a little store and I bought myself a drink and I took the next train 10 minutes after. And that's the clarity I'm in right now. You know, I don't need it, you know, but I also know that it's not the kid's fault. So I'm still going to do it, you know. So yeah, that was that little story. And I see that a lot, you know. I see dogs barking at people, because people are not people anymore. They're different. They are on edge. They are afraid. They're filled with emotion that shouldn't be there. And the dogs pick it up, you know. And I had a lady, that's a long bit ago, was standing with a dog, and there was like 3 kids that was trying to pet it, and it was just barking, you know. And instead of watch that, I went over there and I just stand in front of the dog with my back turned to it, you know, and like I was in between the kids and the dog starts sniffing me, and then I talk to the dog because dogs sense shit like that, you know. So I think it's very important about the signals that we're sending, you know. And I'm not sure, I still don't know how that works, but I do know that the signals I send, the vibrations around me affects my world, my reality, the bubble that I walk into, you know. And if I can change that to a positive thing, if I can change just one negative vibe into a positive one, I've done a difference, you know. I can just deflect a lot of bullshit because I see that it's bullshit. Uh, I can't find an example right now. Mm, a long time ago, there was two people sitting arguing over a movie. You know, and one said one thing and one said the other thing, and I said, "Well, actually, what he's saying is right." And then I told him exactly what was being said and done in the movie, and I could tell him uh, who directed it and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, it went away. You know, that was a bad example, but yeah, it came out wrong. But basically, I interact with positive vibes on my surroundings, and it works. Sometimes you need to give him 1,000 yards stare. You know, when a car when a car feels you're walking over a red light and they're honking their horns, sometimes I just stop and I look at them until they realize that I don't give a shit. You know, then they stop honking their horn and I walk on and they get to move. Basically, just telling them with one look, you're not going to get past here until you stop bothering me. So, yeah, small stuff like that. Sometimes I take the high horse, sometimes I blend in, and sometimes I just do unselfish deeds, you know. Sometimes I do selfish deeds because sometimes we are in surplus and sometimes we don't have enough for ourselves and we need to charge our own ego or own, you know, self-esteem. So I do that. But be aware on how you interact around yourself, you know, and make sure you're strong enough to be in every given situation you put yourself in. So if you had a bad day and you need to go home in the metro, find somewhere, sit down, cool off before you take the metro. Small stuff like that, you know. Be aware when you're putting yourself in stressful situations where things might go wrong, then you can help yourself and your surroundings a lot. Yeah. All right. I'm almost done here. If nobody comes on, I will say my final piece so I can go to bed. And as Buzz say, an argument is pointless. It is just 2 points of view. A conversation creates one more. Yeah, two that both can hold on to. Yeah, they don't even need that. You know, they don't have to agree. You know, they don't have to find a common ground. It's all right, Johnny. No problem. You know, I'll see you in the next one. Um, so it's all good. I think the problem is we're trying to make life way harder than it needs to be. Half the shit, half the problems that we walk around with is either self created or could be avoided, you know, just by simple means. Many of our agonies and stressful vibes is created because of bullshit that doesn't exist. You know, yes, there are days where I lack people. You know, I lack people that I can work with. You know, there are days where they get on my nerves, and fuck it, it's okay. I don't blame them. I don't blame me for that. It is what it is. You know. Then there are days when you meet the woman in the red dress. Those are the good days. You meet somebody. Oh yeah, I met somebody actually at my gym. That guy was awake, but he was not as awake as I was. You know, and we had a conversation for like 90 minutes after training. You know, and he asked me a lot of stuff. So that was pretty cool. And you will lose those conversations if you either hide or are this nagging fact spitter. That's what I call it. I was one. That's what I called myself 2 years ago. I was just wah, 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 just nagging and barking at everybody, you know. So yeah. I want to make my closing remarks. Today we have been talking about finding progress and purpose in life. I think it's important to do that by knowing ourselves. You can't know your purpose. You can't know that road you're on unless you have been in contact with your inner demons in this world. But once you have, you'll find out that these demons can navigate you through a very, very difficult time. These demons you're fighting is also a part of you. You have to realize that the good in you have a counterpart, and it's called demons. You know, but without the demons, you wouldn't be pushed down that path of kindness and care and all that. You know, you wouldn't see all the good stuff if you didn't have a bad side in you. We all go to a dark place sometimes so we can enjoy life and light, you know. And that will be the message of today. As I said many times before, balance is key. Keep assured of that guy that you're hiding away. He's important. You know, when you look in that mirror and you see that guy and you say, oh my God, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the guy that I was 20 years ago. You're not. You just remember that guy you was 20 years ago. It's not you anymore. You changed. And by hiding from that guy, you don't see that dark side that you have now because you're hiding that entire part of you away. And when you don't see that, you can't navigate. You can't navigate unless you have a full spectrum. And that's the good side of you in one end and the bad side in the other end. Now you can navigate because you have a scale to navigate on. It is really that simple. I don't know if you know that, you know, so I'm saying it. If you do, cool. Don't listen to me. You know, but we're walking a very, very thin line here, you know, and if we are drawn at one side, we will fall off. We need that counterbalance. We will fall off that line. You know, if we only focus on the good stuff, we will get too comfortable and we will perish. We will be weak, dumb, mainstream NPCs carrying motherfuckers, you know? And on the other hand, if we only look at the dark side, we will get depressed and we will lock ourselves in and we will build that wall around us that Pink Floyd described back in the days. You know, we need to be somewhere smack in the middle. So we remember and look at what this guy is doing. Both guys are doing. So it's the old thing about having the angel and the devil on your shoulders. You know, in the cartoons, like everything else in cartoons, in indoctrination, there's a message there. You know, but it's not an angel. Or could be. Could be. It could be an angel and a devil speaking to you. We don't know. There's still a lot of wavelengths that we can't see. So, but until then, I believe that that devil and the angel represents the good and the bad side of myself. It is an inner conflict that will never stop. And it's not supposed to stop. You're not supposed to end that. It is a part of you. You need that to navigate through life. So you always know when you're in smack in the middle, you know who you are and what you want. And you also know what you don't want. So, yeah, that's the message of today. Keep track of yourself, both of them. This is the Tribe of Revelation. I'm Brian Christensen, and I'm signing off. See you on the flip side.